If you're a contractor who feels nervous every time you give a price, if you worry customers will say it's too high, or you keep lowering your number just to get the job, then this episode is going to change your entire business. And in fact, it may even change your life. Cue the intro.
Welcome to the Master of the NEC podcast, the ultimate destination for anyone passionate about the electrical trade. Whether you're a seasoned electrician, an eager apprentice, or just someone who wants to dive deep into the world of electrical work, you've come to the right place. Join your host, Paul Abernathy, a true authority in the industry with over 38 years of trade experience, as he electrifies your mind with in-depth discussions, expert tips, and valuable insights that will keep you ahead of the curve. Each episode, Paul will illuminate the complexities of the trade, decode the National Electrical Code, and share the latest industry trends, all while empowering you to take your electrical career to the next level. So, gear up, plug in, and get ready to supercharge your knowledge, because with the Master of the NEC podcast, the power is in your hands. Now get ready. Here is your host, Paul Abernathy.
What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Master the NEC podcast. My name is Paul Abernathy. I am your host. I am the electrical guru with all the answers, whether it's the National Electrical Code, HR for your business, management, understanding growth, anything revolving your contracting business as well as learning the National Electrical Code. Hey, I'm a resource for you. Whether you're listening on our mobile app, which is free, by the way, all you got to do is go to Fast Tracks System. That's TRAX, by the way. fasttrackssystem.com, and you will see in the navigational link, you can get a download to our actual mobile app. And on our mobile app, you can look at blogs, you can read the blogs, you can look at the calculators, you can listen to podcasts like this one, as well as our other Let's Ask Paul podcasts. There's literally over 1,000 episodes of various podcasts that you can listen to on the mobile app. Or if you want, just go to your regular search engine, Google, Bing, whatever, and type in Master the NEC podcast, all separate words, and you will find that we are syndicated on all types of platforms, whether it's Spreaker, Spotify, Deezer, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, on so many platforms. Whichever one, Spotify, whichever one you choose to listen on, we're glad that you found us, and we appreciate that you're here. And hopefully you'll join us for future episodes. Well, like the intro said, today we're going to talk about pricing a little bit, okay? And you know what? We're going to be diving into one of the most emotional, misunderstood, and financially critical topics in the trade. Whether you're in electrical, plumbing, mechanical, it doesn't matter. This thing is always the little mole that's sitting in the back of your brain going, am I too high or am I too low? So when it comes to pricing, most don't have a pricing problem. They have a confidence problem. They charge less than they should to avoid confrontation, to avoid losing jobs, and to avoid hearing the customer push back. And because of that, they stay stuck forever in this low pricing tier strategy. Now, I'm going to remind you, listen to previous episodes that we did. We did an episode specifically talking about ways to retain that customer. Make sure you go back and listen. In the episode 44, 45, you're going to see some real powerful stuff that's going to be helping your business. So go back, check it out on our Master the NEC podcast. Those are some amazing things that are going to help you. All right, so what are we going to do here? Okay. Today's episode, we call it the pricing reset. Charging what you're worth without fear. Now, by the end of this episode, you're going to fully understand why you undercharge, why clients choose confidence over low price. You're going to know that your NEC knowledge instantly elevates your value. And if you're a CMECP or you're a certified thermal electrician, your value is already going through the roof because you know how to market yourself properly. Dude, people aren't going to toot your horn for you. And if they do, it's not very lasting. You have to understand how to toot your own horn. Confidence, not cockiness. Spread the word. Marketing. It's all in how you do it, okay? We're going to be talking about the psychology of premium pricing, how to present your price without flinching, and how to attract the right customer. You know, the ones who are happy to pay you your worth, not those lowballers who are going to end up arguing or complaining or being a nuisance to you. All of that we're going to talk about in today's episode. So buckle up, get your pen and paper. Write this stuff down. Important milestones that we're going to be talking about today. So at the end of the day, let's get into it. First, why most contractors undercharge? Now, look, I'm going to be blunt. Most of you out there, contractors, lower their price because they are afraid of rejection. You don't have to hide behind it. You can, I'll state the obvious. You don't have to. Everybody hates to hear no. Because if you bid a job or you do something and you don't get the job, you're always in the back of your mind, was my price too high? Should I have gotten the job? I didn't get the job. Maybe I need to lower my price. All those things start creeping into your mind. But look, here's the truth. The fear of the client saying you're expensive keeps more contractors broke than anything else in this industry, period. Undercharging comes from not wanting to lose the job, comparing yourself to a low bid hack. You heard me right. A low bid hack who's working out the back of their Nova from 1972. Okay, you get what I'm saying? Although I'd still like to have one of those. But anyway, you get it, right? Thinking you owe a customer a discount. You think you owe them something because they want your business. You don't owe them anything but good service. Believing you must match competitors. Assuming the customer can't afford quality. Insecurity in your work or your communication skills. Go back and watch or listen, I should say, to our last couple episodes, episode 44, 45. Go back and listen, folks. Build that confidence. You're worth it. But you also need to work on why you have to have that confidence. Whether you become a CMECP, a certified thermal electrician, whether or not you gain more knowledge in the NEC, how you market yourself in your community. You've got to walk the walk to talk the talk, okay? But look, here's what you must understand. Customers don't want the cheapest contractor. Yeah, you get some of those people that are on social media or your Nextdoor or your Craigslist or whatever, and what do? They put out there, I want a cheap, affordable electrician. But then in the same breath, they want a reliable. You can't have cheap and reliable all the time. Sometimes cheap is cheap. And maybe I don't want to be pigeonholed into that cheap contractor mentality. Some people are happy with that, but you're not going to grow. You're not going to scale with that mentality. Look, customers don't want the cheapest contractor. They want the contractor who gives them the most confidence. That's right. That's you. If you claim it, it's there for you. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. And again, do you want to be the cheapest? Do you want that kind of customer that all they care about is price rather than quality? They don't know your business. They don't know your model. They don't know your overhead. They don't know what you've done to get from point A to point B, but immediately the first thing out their mouth is, what's your price? Are you the cheapest? Yeah. No, I'm not the cheapest, but I'm the best. And here's why. So look, you got to think about this from the right mental approach here. Okay. Now, the confidence to price connection. What does that mean? Okay. Now, when you raise your prices confidently, something magical happens in your psyche. The customer is, look, a good customer stay and a bad customer leaves. Why? Because low price attracts complainers, micromanagers, slow payers, tire kickers, warranty abusers, customers who want the impossible done at an impossible price. But are you going to keep chasing your tail? No. You're the cream of the crop. You're the trade. You've earned this. There are people who make your life miserable. And it's those lowball tire kickers, slow paying, micromanaging complainers, right? When you raise your rates, you push those people away and you attract customers who value professionalism, safety, and code compliance. I'm serious, folks. Do not think you need to scrape the bottom of the barrel to be successful. Yes, you might get one here, one there, but if you're not making any damn money on it, are you really getting anywhere? And is that the customer that's going to be a recurring golden goose down the road? No, they're not. Think about it. Position yourself properly. Now, let's talk about this. How is your NEC knowledge is going to make you worth more? Whether you're in our Fast Tracks program or you have our Master the NEC post-licensing program, whether or not you're just a student of the NEC, whether or not you spend that time devoting yourself to being one step above your competition. I mean, let's face it. You're listening to this podcast. I'm an electrical guy. I teach you electrical things. You want to be at the next level. Subconsciously, you're making a direction towards that next level. Now, this is where you can shine more than anyone else. When you speak from authority, code, safety, if you offer thermal imaging from understanding and interpretation and compliance and how you convey this to the customer with carrying yourself with the swagger because you have the knowledge. Whether you're a CMECP and you went through the program and you enhanced your knowledge of the National Electrical Code so that you can talk about it with confidence. I know people who talk code and I don't know that they actually believe what comes out of their mouth because their confidence is lacking. When you speak from authority, it is a game changer. For example, here's why the NEC requires this. Here's the safety hazards you're facing. Here's why the system needs to be upgraded. Here's why thermal imaging shows you what's going on, and I found this for you, and this is what it means. Now look, folks, you have to understand how to convey this stuff to your customer. You think that you're not a salesman, and you're not somebody that's just selling snake oil. What you're doing is you're selling your experience, your knowledge, your understanding, and this is what you're getting paid for. But the ability to convey this to the customer is key. And I talk about this in a previous episode to this communication. It doesn't just mean running your lips. It means following a system and getting that information out to your customer, setting expectations, understanding the scope of the project, conveying that scope so that there's no misrepresentation anywhere. This is all part of that important communication thing. You need to learn how to be a salesman by selling truth to your customer. Now, listen carefully. Contractors who educate dominate. Contractors who fear pricing disappear and get absorbed. I'm telling you, folks, it's proven. Customers will absolutely pay more for a safety-conscious employee, a safety-conscious contractor, a safety-conscious person, accuracy, long-term quality, code compliance, expert-level diagnostics, the ability to convey to the customer what's going on, why you did it, and what the solution is to their problem. When you position yourself as the expert, pricing stops being the deciding factor. And God, can you imagine how much nicer it'll be if you didn't start worrying about why I didn't get this job or why I didn't get this job? If somebody is going to do this based on price alone, then you did not sell them properly. Maybe they're in the market for a Taurus, but you're selling a Porsche, okay? Totally different mentality. Now, let's talk about the psychological process of premium pricing. So I like to say the psychology of premium pricing. There's a method to it. Let's talk psychology. When you charge more, number one, customers assume you know more. Price signals expertise. I'm serious, folks. If Toyota makes a Lexus and then they make a Prius, okay? The Lexus and Prius, That's a wide example, by the way. But again, there's more for the expectation of luxury. When it comes to pricing, you're worth more. Price signals expertise rather than Jimmy Lowball. Number 2, customers assume you will do it right the first time because of your pricing structure and your confidence. Looking the part, wearing the shirt with your logo on it, showing up professionally, doing all the other things that we talk about in other episodes that we've talked about between episode 44 and 46, carrying yourself as a professional. Those type of things are going to help with that psyche. The customer assumes you will do it right the first time. Number 3, customers respect your time more. You're a professional. Number 4, customers trust you before you even start doing one thing, before you start turning one nut or bolt. They start to trust you more. Premium pricing isn't about greed, folks. It's about aligning yourself with value and how you rate yourself on that value scale. You must rethink your mentality of this pricing structure. We're not saying gouge people. We're not saying doing things arbitrarily to inflate pricing. We're saying understand your pricing model, feeling confident in it, knowing what your burdens are, what your overhead is, what you have to make. The more employees you have, the more overhead you're going to have. Understanding your pricing structure and what you're worth and sticking to it and not worrying if you lose a project because somebody lowballed them. That's a one and done. That is not a method of long-term success by worrying about the lowball. I'm telling you. You may have lost 1 or 2 now and you say, Paul, that's not right. I just can't stand when I lose. You're just not in it to win it yet. You're just willing to give away the farm. You're not there yet. So the next thing we'll talk about is the no flinch price presentation method. People say, what the hell is he talking about now? No flinch price presentation method. Here's how you deliver your price with confidence. You ready? Folks, it's simple. 4 steps. Number 1, state the price with a calm, steady voice. For example, the investment for this project is $2,450. And I wouldn't say bucks. I would say the investment for this project for you is $2,400 or $2,450 to be able to do what we have under the scope of this project for you. Then what do you do after you give them the price? Shut up. Folks, people want to banter back and forth. People want to negotiate. There is no negotiation here. Give your price. If you charge by the hour, give your price. This is what my price is to do the job. And then shut up. Silence is your friend here, folks. Step 3, if they hesitate, go into education. Don't go into the discounting structure. Don't start saying, well, I'll give you 10% off or 50%. Don't fall down that rabbit hole. If they start to hesitate on your price, the moment the silence and you see it in their eyes, you can tell and there's a hesitation. This is when you immediately go, well, let me explain. Here is what this covers. Or you go, here's why that's the correct solution. Or here's the long-term benefit. But go into the scope of what it's covered, what you intend to do, what you intend to include, what you intend to fix with confidence. That pause between pricing and explaining, there's that hesitation, there's that silence that you must have with a customer. You'll know it, you'll feel it. Then and only then, after you explained it, you've educated them on the full scope of what you're covering in your pricing, what you're going to do for them. Step 4, do not apologize for your price. Do not say things like, I know it's a lot. Do not say things like, I can probably work with you a little bit. Do not say, don't worry, I'll make it cheap. Folks, Every time you apologize for your price, you train a customer to negotiate with you. This isn't a negotiation. You know what you're worth. You know what your value is. The problem is, and I can tell you right now, so many people out there, technicians or whatever, whether there's a wiggle room built into pricing from the home office or from their employer or whatever, the problem is everybody's so eager to give a price and then start backing away from the price. The customer doesn't expect you to go up on your price, right? You hear all kinds of crap if you go up. So don't expect you to drop down. Justify what your worth is. Be confident. Remember, eye contact and silence is key. But do not make excuses. This is not a negotiation, folks. You're worth every penny of what you've come up with as your pricing structure. You're not selling snake oil here. I'm assuming that I'm talking to reputable contractors out there who are just not out to fluff people. You're out there to help people. You want to earn a living. You want to get paid what you're worth. I know you morally high ground folks out there that are listening to this podcast get it. And there's some of you shysters out there, you'll never get it. Okay? It doesn't matter. Your time is coming. It's just a matter of time before you fall by the wayside because you're a shyster. But the people that actually get it, that charge what they're worth, take pride in their value, yes, it may mean you're more expensive than the other guy, but you have come to the point where this is your value, this is your overhead, this is your burden, this is what you're worth, this is what you need, and you're not willing to back off of it for anybody. That's where you need to get. Okay, next. The 3 numbers every contractor must know. Okay, you ready? These are the little gems, folks. Take it away, save it, write it down, re-listen to it later. I'm going to give you the 3 numbers every contractor must know. Okay, to price confidently, you must know these things. Number 1, your cost to show up, your truck, your insurance, your fuel, your overhead, everything that goes into how you came up with your pricing structure, you need to know what it is. So everybody that owns a business that is doing this, because if you work for somebody, you're following what the owner's done. So if you're the owner, I'm talking to you. You need to know what your pricing is. Whether it's flat rate or not, you need to know what your pricing is, what your margins are. So for example, if it costs you $110 just to roll up in the truck, then there's no damn way you can charge $85 an hour. Dude, if I had $1 for every electrical contractor, and I do a lot of consulting to contractors, and some of them have me on retainer, and I talk to their staff every month on a phone call or on a Zoom meeting. I come to them, I'll talk to them every month to talk to their employees and a bit different topics that they want me. They want me to be the bad guy. I'll come in and do it. That is available. If you're interested, reach out to our office. We can mentor your company. And it includes once a month for an hour. And also it's available for any time you want to call or send. We will be there to assist you. That type of thing. But I explain, look, if it costs me $110 just to get out that door, there's no way my hourly rate can be $85 an hour. And you would be surprised how many contractors I talk to who think this backwards. They go, well, I'm $100 an hour. And I go, well, what does it cost for you to roll up on that job? What does it cost you to acquire that job? What is the overhead? What is everything that you need to just roll up in that vehicle? And then they start looking at their hourly rate and go, well, shit, I don't charge enough. I'm like, yeah, you can get all the damn jobs you want, but you're not going to make any damn money. Number 2, the labor costs. And again, as I say, that's the burdens, not just your hourly. So yeah, number 1, your truck, your insurance, your fuel, your overhead, all those things you need to know. Pretty simple. Find out what your insurance is. Find out what the trucks cost, what your fees are, what your fuel is, all those overhead and burdens. Find out what those things are. Next, you need to find out what your taxes are, what your insurances are, what your benefits that you offer your employees are, what your downtime, what's the real cost, not just an hourly rate. What's your real cost? Now, eventually, the cost for rolling up in your truck, the insurance and fuels and overhead, and your labor costs, which is your burdens, the taxes, insurance benefits will get rolled together. Okay? But you're not even done yet. You just need to find out what it costs to physically get you there. Again, truck, insurance, fuel, overhead, that. Next, you need to understand what your actual labor costs are. Taxes, insurance, matching, benefits, burdens, those things. That's your real cost per manpower. Find out what that is. For example, if I've got a helper and electrician there, then I've got to account for the helper's hourly rate. I've got to account for the electrician's rate or whatever trade it is. I have to account for these things. And I have to understand the taxes, what I'm matching as a company. I'm not going to eat that. I need to understand all of these things in business so I have a number to work with. All of this is going to be a foundation for what you're going to charge your customer. Third, let's not forget this. Your minimum profit margin. Hello, people forget. You're not going to make any money if you're just covering your labor costs and your show-up costs or your get-me-to-the-job costs if you don't have a minimum profit margin that you're willing to work with. Contracting is a high-risk industry, folks. Profit is not optional. It is required for survival. If you're not making a profit and you're breaking even, you're not going to be around long. It's just it. If you don't know those three numbers, then you're guessing on your prices. You're just guessing. And you know what? Guessing is not going to build an empire. I know quite a few contractors who went on to business for 5 and 6 and 7 years, hemorrhaging, barely making it. And you go looking at it, and I sit with them and I say, well, look, here's an exercise for you. That's one of the first things I do when I consult with some contractors. I go, okay, let's do a little exercise. Let's try to look at, depending on the size of the company, let's look at what your overhead costs are, what your vehicle costs, everything. Just do it. You should have these records every month. Most of this stuff is reoccurring. Pretty easy to come up with this if you're actually doing your books right. Look at your staff, look at the benefits, look at your payroll. Let's look at everything first and see what your costs are. Then let's come up with what your profit margin is. Okay? And that profit margin needs to be put on top of whether you're doing 10%, 15%, 20%, 25% margin. That's something personal within your company. There's no boilerplate for that. Okay? In my company, I made sure that I got at least 15 to 20% profit margin, or it wasn't worth me doing it. And also, I had markup on product. My product would mark up 10% product markup. Now, I had a discount for stuff that was considered truck stock, which maybe was a 5%, and I kept a ledger of that, and that's how we would do things. But at the end of the day, you have to be comfortable with your market, but you need to know these numbers. If you don't know anything about where you came up with your hourly rate, then you just picked a number just out of the blue, and you hope it's enough. And you hope nothing big comes up where there's a big expense and ends up draining everything and then you're struggling, because it can happen. Okay? All right, now, let's talk about this now. How do you deal with a price objection from a customer? That's big because, again, we've talked about how to establish your pricing, coming in with confidence, not negotiating, being confident with it. But you are going to run into objections, and I want to explain a few quick things on how to ask. And this is stuff that you can role play with your employees, and I encourage you to do this. I know some very middle-sized contractors, electrical contractors that actually have meetings and they do a little role playing because they want their sales technicians, not their guys that are out there doing the rough ends, but they have the service team. They constantly go over these things with them and how to deal with objection. Okay, so here's 3 objections you'll hear. Number 1, and this is very common, that's expensive. And you know what you reply? You say, look, quality and safety matters here, and this solves the problem correctly. Yeah, you're not making excuses. They don't, people say expensive all the time, right? But how the hell do they know what's expensive? They don't know what the cost of doing business is as a contractor. They don't understand what the cost of that material is. They have no idea. We know that inflation's going, prices go up, things change. Maybe they had something done 15 years ago. Well, this ain't 15 years ago, baby. So quality and safety matters here on this project. And this solves the problem correctly. And then you can even go into the scope and why it solves the problem. That's how you deal with that objection. Oh, hey, here's a good one. Here, I can get it cheaper. God, folks. How many of you have heard that one? Well, I can get it cheaper. Well, you know what my response to that is? Again, remember what we said about don't want to be the lowest, don't want to be the cheapest, and I'm not here to negotiate. I go, look, I completely understand. My price reflects code compliance, safety, and long-term reliability. And in my case, I would say, look, I'm a CMECP, a certified master electrical code professional. I put in a lot of extra time, and that time goes into the quality of my work. Okay, so I understand that there may be other people out there that are less than me. I understand if you feel you have to go in that direction. But my work reflects my compliance, my safety, and my long-term reliability and follow-up that I'm going to give you on this installation or this service call. That's about all I can say to that. But you say it just like that. No excuses. Hey, here's a good one. Here's good. Can you come down just a little bit? My reply to that is, look, the scope is the scope, but I can adjust the solution if needed. You never discount, only adjust the scope. And what do we mean by that? Well, maybe originally in the scope, they wanted a bunch of things done. And in order to bring the price down, maybe you remove some of those things. That doesn't mean those things can't be corrected later or a good reason to do a follow-up, or maybe when they've got a little more money, they can get those other things done because they understand they want them done. But maybe you adjust the scope, but you don't adjust the price. You hear me? You remain what? You maintain the value, you stay in control, and you remain the professional the whole time. Do not have a crack in the armor, folks. Don't do it. Now, one exception to this, and I will tell you this, one exception to this rule is that I had a plan. Remember, this goes back to another episode I did that talks about having a system in place. When a customer would say something like, can you come down a little? I would not discount it directly because of their response. I want something in return, folks. So I had a program, I had a process that I would say, okay, look, we do have a 10% or a 5% discount program in place for Google reviews. You give us a 5-star review. Hey, ain't no shame in my game. That's what the hell I want. I want a 5 freaking star review, buddy. I ain't too humble. I want it. And y'all heard me talk about the importance of getting those reviews. So on my hat, I have those little QR codes. Back in the day, it was on a business card where they would scan it. I have a QR code. I have it on my hat. I say, you scan this in. We put this on your phone. You go in, you give me a 5-star review, and I am authorized to give you a 5% discount. You're still going to get the same level of quality, the high quality of me and my workmanship. But because of this, you helping me out, I can help you out. It's a win-win for everybody. And trust me, that review matters. You can think it don't matter, but if you're a local business and you're doing local servicing and you're not big into the social SEO or local SEO and Google and Bing and Yelp and all, if you haven't leveraged that properly, you're never, ever, ever going to get the local market like you could. I have an episode on that. I encourage you to go listen, search for it, because I'm telling you what, it is a gold mine for findability locally. I'm just saying. Dude, I didn't just start this shit yesterday, folks. You can say what you want about me. You can go read about me on social platforms and say, well, he never did it. How in the hell could I talk about electrical installations, give advice, tell you about certain types of equipment, give you sales advice, give you marketing advice, give you tax advice, ownership advice, all these kind of things that I give you on podcasts, over 1,000+ episodes, if I didn't walk the walk and talk the talk? You can listen to some pinhead Whack Jackerson or some damn Cy Porter, as all he's done is home inspections. You can listen to them and think that they're the pro. They are not the pro. I'll teach any home inspector to go through a building and call out deformities that they can't fix. You're the pro. You're the professional. You're not on the same level. You're above them. Okay? Let's just make it clear. Okay, look. That's the only time I would give them some kind of discount, but I want something in return. This is a win-win for both of us. It's very easy to implement that. You can get these little QR codes for your caps on our website, fasttracksystem.com. We'll put the QR code on there to your link tree or website or wherever you want. I encourage you to do a link tree because you can also share other contractors that are in your trusted network, and then they put this on their phone and save it on their phone when they're getting that review, right? And then you tell them, hey, you trust me. I trust these people because I know they do good work. I know they're very reliable. They're right there on your phone. You need a plumber, mechanical, builder, inspector. They're right here. You start earning their trust. When they need you again, all they got to do is go back to that app on your phone, that little thing on their phone, and tap it, and you're ready to be there. Folks, there's a mentality of doing this properly, and I can train you for it. Now, what happens when you charge what you're worth? What's going to start happening to you? When when contractors start raising their prices, everything changes. You get a better quality customer. You get fewer problems. Clearly, you're going to get more profit per hour. You're going to gain more time for your family, less follow-ups, less problem calls, more predictable income, less burnout, greater confidence in how you carry yourself and how you market yourself to the customer and to everybody around you. Better long-term business success and viability because you're setting the mark, you're setting the tone. Folks, if you add to your knowledge, never stop learning, become a CMECP, become a certified thermal electrician, add these services, enhance yourself, add other things to your business. Generators, poor man's generators where it's just a generator inlet. All these types of services set you above the competition. If you're not willing to work at it, you're not going to get it. Remember, contractors don't get wealthy by working harder. They get wealthy by pricing correctly. Look, if you've been undercharging, today is your turning point. Not next month, not next year. It's the day. Of course, this is perfect timing. We're right here in December. We're at the end of the year. You have an action item for January 2026. Put your pricing in perspective. Understand what you're worth. Carry your head up high. No negotiation. You can do it. Because your skills, your experience, your knowledge, your NEC knowledge, your enhanced training, your ability to diagnose things quicker because you have that extra training. All of these are tremendous value that have a cost to you. They should be paying for this. Stop discounting that value. Folks, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with somebody. Share it with somebody else in the trade. Share it on social media. Tell people about it. Tell them know where you heard it. Tell them they can go on any search engine and search for Master the NEC podcast. It's not just about electrical. These are things that plumber, mechanical, builder, all these people can gain something from this. If you want to learn more about the National Electrical Code, want to become that go-to person, then go to fasttracksystem.com. That's TRAX, folks. Fasttracks, TRAX, system.com. We have post-licensing and we have pre-licensing, whereas you can learn to pass an exam, or once you get licensed, you can have an expert in your pocket. If you want to add thermography to your business profile, and let me tell you, folks, it is a game changer if you know how to do it properly. And that peace of mind that you give that customer, game changer. You may say, well, I don't think it is. All I'm doing is scanning stuff. Then you have no clue. And you probably never used thermography and understand even how to read a thermographic image. You don't get it. Go to thermalelectrician.com and you can get it. Folks, maybe it's just as simple as you want to understand the code quicker. Then maybe you even subscribe to what we call tradehog.net. TradeHog. It's a code expert AI tool in your pocket. Just go to tradehog.net. We have so many ways to make your job and your life so much easier, help your business grow. Folks, this isn't snake oil. I've been doing this for damn near 40 years. I've helped contractors scale. I can do it for you too. Okay. All right, folks. Hope you got something out of this episode. Again, share it. We appreciate you. Till next time, stay safe. God bless. And happy holidays for all of you that hear this. Here we are at December. Make sure your family's safe and make sure your business prospers in 2026. Let's go. Take care.
Thanks for tuning into another electrifying episode of the Master the NEC podcast. We hope you're feeling more powered up and ready to tackle the electrical world with the knowledge and confidence you need to succeed. Remember, in the electrical trade, knowledge is power, and we're here to make sure you stay plugged into the latest insights, tips, and code updates. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share the podcast with your fellow electricians and industry pros. Until next time, keep your tools sharp, your circuits clear, and your mind focused, because here at the Master the NEC podcast, we're all about sparking your success. Stay safe, stay smart, and keep mastering the trade. From all of us here at Electrical Code Academy, thank you for all your support, and we will see you on the next amazing Master the NEC podcast episode.